Well, the move to dissolve the National Assembly of Pakistan might have saved Imran Khan's government monetarily, but of course, further damage, it's already done. It has fractured the democratic system of Pakistan. And this is indeed momentary because you have the Supreme Court hearing the matter, and in just a little while, possibly a decision will be made. Here's a detailed report on what went by today.
Solidly held that. Oh, that's a big shot. Oh, he's bowled him.
One of Pakistan's greatest all-rounders of all time. A bowler par excellence who was considered unplayable when ball tampering was legal in the 80s.
And the first wicket down, Imran Khan, the great Pakistan all-rounder.
30 years after he retired from the cricket pitch, Imran Khan Niazi has demonstrated that his talents for tampering to swing things in his favour have lost none of their potency. He may be beaming now, exuding the delight of one who has pulled the rug from under Shehbaz Sharif and Bilawal Bhutto, who led an opposition army to cast Imran unceremoniously out of office. But Imran has landed his country in a constitutional crisis. For one thing, Imran Khan appears to have made a move that flies against the mood in the all-powerful Pakistan army. Averting his ouster just a day after Pakistan's army chief obliquely criticized Imran's foreign hand conspiracy theories.
वो ये कहते हैं कि हमें और एक बहाना मारते हैं कि हमें क्यों गुस्सा पाकिस्तान पे, लेकिन कहते हैं कि वो गुस्सा तब बिल्कुल ठीक हो जाएगा, हम माफ कर देंगे पाकिस्तान को अगर इमरान खान ये अदम एतमाद की ये हार जाता है, यानी अगर इमरान खान चला जाता है तो पाकिस्तान को माफ कर देते हैं.
We share a long history of excellent and strategic relationship with the United States, which remains our largest export market. We seek to broaden and expand our ties with both countries without impacting our relations with the other.
Article 5 जो है उसकी clause 1 तो पड़ी.
By blocking a constitutionally moved no trust vote against him, Imran has also confirmed to the Pakistani people that the numbers were indeed stacked against him and therefore severely damaged the democratic process at a time when Pakistan is battling to repair an irreparable international reputation. The opposition may be pushing things when it cites a looming civil war, but as caretaker Prime Minister on the back foot, Imran Khan still faces unrest and opposition even from his own party and government. A possible revolt within was triggered shortly after the National Assembly drama, with Imran's Attorney General and Deputy, the two top Pakistani legal officers, resigning.
Article 6 लगेगा. Article 6 किस ऊपर लगेगा? स्पीकर के ऊपर भी और इमरान खान के ऊपर.
Imran Khan famously lost his cap and nerve facing a bouncer playing for Sussex in 1981, a sporting assault that galvanized him to bounce back and demolish the rival Middlesex team on the final day of that famous county test.
That has gone miles. It is a huge six.
It indeed has been a dramatic Sunday in Pakistan. India today has been constantly shedding the limelight on Imran Khan and his plight, his future as a Prime Minister of Pakistan. I'm Nabila Jamal. I have with me some of our panelists here to give us some perspectives on what's going to happen, likely scenarios in Pakistan as the situation has now reached the Supreme Court. Fareed Malik, PTI ideologue, joining us. Kamar Shima, who's a political analyst, along with Abdul Samad Yaqoob, who's the leader of the PTI, giving us an understanding on what next. Let me start with the leader of the PTI itself, Abdul Samad Yaqoob. Here you have your government on the brink of exit at a time, just at the nick of time, when you had to face the no confidence motion. Imran Khan, it appears, had his way via the speaker, with the speaker calling this a foreign conspiracy without initiating an investigation and dismissing the assembly, asking for a re-election. The matter is now in Supreme Court. How do you see all the allegations saying that maybe Imran Khan has managed to align the speaker on what he wanted?
No, well, at several times and at several forums, I have reiterated that whatever will be done, whatever will be held in the parliament will be under the constitutional framework. And what we believe is that this move is purely a constitutional move. But since the Supreme Court has taken the suo motu action, and finally the ultimate fate of this move will be decided, the ultimate fate of the ruling will be decided by the Supreme Court. So let's wait for the Supreme Court verdict. If it comes in the favor of the ruling, then
quite naturally there is no choice left but to wait for the Supreme Court, because that's the apex court, the final word. But why did you have to go to the end of this no confidence motion and then back out? Initially, there was a request for a re-election, which your party denied to do. You all wanted to face the no confidence motion, and when you had it in your hands to face it, you all took a complete U-turn. It seems like there are allegations that Imran Khan is trying to use every backdoor power to come back to position.
No,
to stability.
It's not in that way which you perceive, but the fact of the matter is that it is, you can consider it, or you can call it a smart move. A smart political move, which Prime Minister has mentioned that he will surprise the opposition, and that was the surprise. I mean, which we believe that it is under the constitutional framework. So sometimes you have to take such smart moves.
All right, so you call this a smart move without having the numbers, the required numbers. That's what the opposition has been crying so long, that without the numbers, how is it possible that Imran gets to stay in power? He should not be in power. This is not right. This clearly is not the mandate of the people of Pakistan. In fact, Kamar Shima will give us an understanding on that. Kamar, the PTI calls a smart political move. And why not? If the Constitution gives them the option, why not take the option? It's a final straw. They're going to try to pull all strings to stay in power.
Well, I think as far as if the PTI calls this a smart move, let the judiciary decide it, because the important thing is that it was to be decided by the parliament. Unfortunately, the immature political leadership in Pakistan, they have decided it that the matters to be decided by the judiciary. So in the past, because of the immaturity of the political elite, the military used to intervene, and now the politicians have sent their matters to the Supreme Court or to the judiciary to interpret what decisions they are taking, whether they are of value or not. Since the Supreme Court Chief Justice, he has gone for suo motu notice. It means that this is a matter of public interest. According to Article 84 of the Constitution of Pakistan, this is no more a government's own decision. So the Chief Justice of Pakistan, since he took office, I think since few weeks, I think this would be his first suo motu notice, and that would be by the sitting government. So the Chief Justice of Pakistan is calling the full court, and the full court will look at this decision of the ruling party from the lens that whether they have flouted the canon of Constitution or they are obeying the Constitution, and whatever the decision which have been taken by the president to dissolve the assembly, do they really believe this is the right decision? I think all eyes are on Supreme Court. This is Sunday.
Undoubtedly. But Kamar, I want you to give us an understanding on how the Speaker's decision violates the Constitution, or does it violate the Constitution at all? These are fingers pointed by the opposition, but what does your Constitution say? Where has the Speaker erred, if at all? Does the opposition have a case or merit in court before the Chief Justice?
Well, obviously, once the no confidence motions comes in the parliament, they have a right to stop it at that place. But once the motion has been accepted by the Speaker, then it has to reach to its final logical conclusion. The final conclusion would have been the voting on the no confidence motion, not that at the day of the voting, you call that as a foreign global conspiracy against you, and we cannot allow that the government will not let this voting to happen.
All right.
And then at
so
the end of the day,
this is going against the pattern, against the norm, which is why you believe that there is a case in court. Farid Malik, who's joining us as well. Mr. Malik, here you have Imran Khan, who's really pushed to the brink of being dethroned. At a time like this, instead of introspecting maybe, he points fingers at foreign bodies for conspiracy, accusing that there is a foreign conspiracy which is trying to push me out of power, and therefore I will not allow this to happen. And then you have the speaker almost shocking your entire house by not allowing for a no confidence motion and coming down to dissolving the assembly entirely. This was an act that is against the constitution, is what the opposition says. But do you also agree with our PTI leader, who says that this is only a smart move and you're well within your right to do so?
First of all, I'd like to clarify one or two points that you have raised. You have talked about the mandate. PTI had a mandate for 5 years. An assembly is elected for a term of 5 years.
You have not completed 5 years. Yeah.
There was absolutely no logical, there's no logical point in this non-confidence motion. This no-confidence motion has been moved by very desperate people who are fraud, money launderers, who are facing trials. Shahbaz Sharif, who was supposed to become the Prime Minister, is facing serious money laundering charges in the court in Lahore. So these are very desperate PMLN, corrupt to the core politicians. Imran Khan brings ethics and morality to the political scenario of Pakistan. The assemblies in Pakistan have been irrelevant since 1977. They have done nothing for the people of Pakistan. They are thugs, thieves, corrupt people who are in those assemblies. There are 21 clauses in our constitution about fundamental human rights. Not one of them has ever been discussed, debated, or implemented in the country. So Imran Khan brings ethics and morality to politics. He had a clear mandate of 5 years. And also, I like to bring to your notice, India has not faced this kind of foreign intervention. Pakistan has repeatedly suffered from this kind of foreign intervention since 1958, when Ayub Khan, the first dictator, went to America and then took control of the country.
Right.
We have been repeatedly abused by external forces. Now there are external forces at work in Pakistan. They are desperate politicians who are facing serious charges of
what's
money
the
laundering.
logic behind this allegation that external forces are trying to arm twist Imran Khan and push him out of power? Why do you think someone's doing that? What's the real intention?
India has never experienced that. The foreign forces are not used to an independent foreign policy in Pakistan. It has never happened. Every time there has been an attempt for an independent foreign policy in Pakistan, Liaquat Ali Khan, the first Prime Minister, was murdered. Zulfikar Ali Bhutto tried, he was hanged. Imran Khan's life is also in danger because Pakistan, the independent foreign policy of Pakistan is unacceptable. See, especially after the withdrawal of American forces from Afghanistan, I think it's become very critical. Pakistan has suffered a lot because of fighting other people's battles. The rulers that have been here, they have worked against national interest. They have built their own empires.
Okay.
They have built their own businesses
it's still very unsettling to believe a theory like that, a foreign conspiracy, because this is the fag end of Imran Khan's tenure. You know,
no,
what difference could it make?
In India, you have never experienced that. In Pakistan, this has repeatedly happened.
All right, I'll take your word for that. Let me, maybe Sadia Khan will defend that better. Sadia Khan, who's a leader of the PMLN, joining us as well. Sadia, here is a theory of foreign conspiracy that you may be in cahoots with the foreign body to try and dethrone Imran Khan. These are allegations made against you as the united opposition. How would you look at this scenario unfold, as just a few hours earlier what we saw in the parliament was an absolute surprise?
Well, Imran Khan have pushed situation towards a serious political crisis, which was not expected at all. Anyways, you can see he was in search of some safe exit and he did the same thing, right? He was unable to face consequences when he lost his majority in parliament. He could not stand by losing his main members from parliament and dethroned from chair of Prime Minister. So only option he left probably was that he should make this excuse of that lettergate and dissolve assemblies. Unfortunately, whenever you see Imran Khan's speeches, he always speaks about that none of the government have completed its term in Pakistan. Like in previous regimes, PMLN completed its term, PPP completed its term, but now it's himself, Imran Khan, who have dissolved assemblies, and he's going to leave parliament as the Prime Minister of Pakistan. He could not face what's happening according to Constitution of Pakistan. He just make a lame excuse and taking this lettergate over his head and
no, what is this
took
letter?
a safe
Why
exit.
have
That's
you
all.
not demanded to see this letter? What is this letter? What are the contents of this letter? Who
Well,
who's the recipient of it?
officially there is no representation of that letter, and earlier he have shown the letter in his rally, and before that you can see that there was
Farid Malik, where is this letter? Is this letter just a prop
he took
used
name
in the
of
narrative?
America, and America have denied this. He took name of America, and America has denied this any conspiracy against democracy in Pakistan.
To have a look at the letter, they refused to attend that in-camera session.
Well,
this is the ground reality. They were invited.
Sadia,
you
were invited, you refused to attend, and you did not want to see the letter.
These were only excuses by Imran Khan and his
is
team.
It true that you did not want to see the contents of the letter?
Democracy. These were only excuses by him and his team just to derail the process of
but did you get to see the letter? Aren't you inquisitive? What's in that letter?
Opposition was moving according to constitution. Everything was going to happen according to constitution and legislation business. There was nothing out of constitution. But it is unfortunate that they have used Deputy Speaker of National Assembly because opposition have shown their doubts about Speaker National Assembly, and they were going to move for no confidence movement against Speaker as well. So Deputy Speaker came forward, and he have used the power of his seat and dissolved assemblies. That's very unfortunate.
All right, you know what, Farid Malik, as much as we say that this is a foreign conspiracy or the united opposition is just, maybe aligned with this this conspiracy and try to dethrone Imran Khan.
And they're also trying to save their neck. Also trying to save their neck because Shehbaz Sharif is going to face a serious criminal charge tomorrow in the court in Lahore for money laundering. He is in
You have the
serious
same
trouble.
allegations against you. You have the same allegations against you. Imran Khan has allegations of foreign funds being manhandled, mishandled.
Those are party funds. Those are party funds. That's a different situation.
Party funds from foreign accounts, yeah?
So, those are party funds. All political parties get foreign funding. That's totally a separate case. Nothing to do with personal funds.
Well, why they were adjourning their case again and
money
again?
Laundering.
During all this period of 4.5 years, there was none of the positive response came from Imran Khan and his team about this case. And case was totally adjourned again and again in all hearings.
All right, but these are allegations even you face, Farid Malik. Imran Khan faces misappropriation of foreign funds. Those are allegations that are made, and there are serious allegations which you have refused to face. You don't.
No, not at all.
You do not want to face trial. You all have been postponing this matter.
Those are party funds. The election commission
but you could say it. But
party funding. Here, there are personal accounts.
Face it legally then. Prove it wrong. Face it legally. But anyway, that's a different debate altogether. But for now, if you see the numbers itself, Farid Malik, the numbers are stacked against you entirely. Out of the 342-member Assembly of Pakistan, you barely have 140 in your support.
This has happened so many times. As I told you, the Parliament of Pakistan has been irrelevant since 1977. This has happened so many times that when the actual counting is done, the numbers are different.
Really?
People show their faces.
Maybe Kamar Chiba can give us an understanding. Kamar, Farid Malik calls this a regular affair. This happens so often. Is it really a joke? Does that happen so often? Why does it happen? Kamar Chiba, is it different this time with Imran Khan that a few of his allies, including MQM, have moved and now join hands with the united opposition, or is this a regular affair as claimed by Farid Malik, that this happens so often but never culminates in the actual numbers?
I'm not talking about
when you actually vote, it does not culminate in numbers. But Farid Malik, let me remind you that there was a mock drill that happened by the opposition just an hour ago in your parliament, where they carried out the no confidence motion and managed to announce Sharif as your next Prime Minister. The PTI had lost out on numbers.
You have to understand that most of the parliament members are unscrupulous people. There are cases against them.
Whether or not the numbers are stacked against you.
Once those files are opened, then their Zamir gets up and they vote as they are told to vote. As I've been telling you repeatedly, that the Assembly, the Parliament of Pakistan has been irrelevant since 1977. There are thugs, thieves, goons. They are in India also, but here they are in majority. Imran Khan brings ethics and morality to our
Don't trigger me on that. Let's keep India aside, and as much as this is your internal matter.
Of there are
as
criminals
much
in your
as this is your
parliament
internal
also.
matter, clearly it is a world interest. Let me cut across to Kamar Chima. Kamar, is this a regular affair that you know, your own allies would support the opposition, but when it actually comes to voting,
no, please. What I'm saying is, when it comes to voting, when the numbers are counted, they are never the same as they show during the session.
Okay,
the
so
numbers of
take that away. Kamar Chima, take that away. No, take Farid Malik's response. I'm not going to ask you a question. You can respond to what he's saying. Is this a regular affair?
Well, I think first of all, let me tell you one thing. The political parties and the politicians, when they come in the parliament, they do not take parliament very seriously, and they believe their own political cult, and they believe that they are the powerful people, and all these people who have been elected with them, they have been elected because of them. So they do not respect the elected representatives, and same happened with the Imran Khan, with the previous governments as well. Now, as far as this move is concerned, that Imran Khan's coalition partners left him, this was because Imran Khan couldn't give him what they wanted. Imran Khan didn't have sufficient economic funds for the constituency development, and Imran Khan's party was in a very bad position 4 or 5 weeks ago, because there was inflation, there was economic mismanagement, it was the bad governance, there were so many challenges. So they thought that we should go with the opposition and do the seat adjustment for the next elections. So that is why majority of his own parliamentarians left him, and the coalition partners also left, because they saw a new wave, and the new wave was going with the opposition. So unfortunately, Imran Khan couldn't hold his own numbers. Imran Khan couldn't hold his own parliamentarians. So he's calling this an international conspiracy, that the Americans are involved behind that. But in reality, he lost the numbers. He should have the numbers. And remember, for the more than 3.5 years of the time he was ruling, he was being supported by the unelected offices. And that is why he was being called as the selected Prime Minister.
Got it. So now, a quick word. I'll take that to Sadia Khan. Sadia, your party has been constantly asking for a re-election, saying that Imran Khan does not have the numbers, and you will carry out a clean sweep. That's the opposition's words. Why not go with it? You have it in your hand.
Yes,
the assembly is dissolved. Why not go with a re-election? What's the point in fighting in court now?
Well, there is no point of fighting against early elections in court now. We are just going to fight against the decision Imran Khan made, and that was totally anti-constitutional. And the way he dissolved assemblies, because we were eager that we have to go for a re-election, but still we want that Pakistan should be towards a stable political scenario. Then things could have stable in a better way, and we have to go for early elections. But no, actually Imran Khan wants a safe side. He have just saved his face, and because he was expecting that if he will be sitting in opposition, there will be same cases against him like he have been doing in past with the opposition, that involving them in fake cases and accusing them for corruption and other things. The PMLN leadership was already facing some cases in courts, and they never denied to that reality. They were jailed, they were under detention, they were banned, but still they are fighting for their rights. They were fighting for population of Pakistan. They were fighting for masses of Pakistan. It was not because of that everybody have to go for their own seats. We were fighting for Pakistani people of Pakistan. We took stand for them. It was not for saying
you say that the people of Pakistan are not with the PTI. That's your claim. But Abdul Samad Yaqub,
that election after election can be a solution. This is not.
All right, Abdul Samad Yaqub, a quick word as I come to an end here. Do you really have the people's mandate? You don't have the numbers in the assembly, and already in that mock drill that the opposition carried out, you embarrassingly lost, except that it's not legally upheld. But the fact that that happened by the opposition carried out a no confidence motion right after the speaker left itself shows that they have their numbers, they know what they're speaking of.
I would like to ask Sadia, does she have some audacity to condemn the way that they have managed the number, the way they have bribed them over disgruntled members? I mean, will she show some audacity to condemn those? Pardon, I couldn't hear your question. I just wanted to ask Sadia.
You have the people's mandate. People of Pakistan are with you is what Imran Khan says, but where are your allies?
The matter of the allies is different than those individuals over party members, MNAs who got bribed and who sold their loyalty to the other parties. I mean, what the political crisis was actually born when they were sold. I mean, when there was a money openly there was a trade. जब इस तरह की मंडियां लगेंगी तो फिर यही होगा, political crisis जन्म लेगा.
Okay. All right, Abdul Samad, thank you very much. Sadia Khan, I'm not going to take your response on that. I've heard what all of you have to say. Really appreciate your time. Farid Malik, thank you for joining us and giving us your understanding. And of course, Omar Chima on that as well. Well, Pakistan and the political crisis continues, almost like a constitutional crisis that's erupted in the country of Pakistan. The matter has now reached the Supreme Court. How soon will the verdict come about? How soon will the political situation settle? Will Imran Khan continue as the Prime Minister or not? India Today continues to keep the spotlight. Thank you for watching.